Chapter 1. The Living World. How wonderful is the living world! The wide range of living type is amazing. The extraordinary habitat in which we find living organisms, be it could mountains, deciduous forest, oceans, freshwater lakes, deserts, or hot springs, leaves us speechless. The beauty of galloping horses, of migrating birds, the valley of flower, or the attacking sharks evokes awe and a deep sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of population and among populations of community or even the molecular traffic inside our cells makes us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. This question has two implicit questions within it. The first is technical one and seeks answer to what living is opposed to the non-living, and the second is philosophical one and seeks answer to what the purpose of life is. As scientists, we shall not attempt answering the second questions. We try to reflect on what is living. Second para. Diversity in living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plant, insect, bird, your pets, or another animal and plant. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you increase the area that you make observation in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you were visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number and kind of living organism in it. Each different kind of plant, animal, or organism that you see represents a species. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or the number types of organisms present on Earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plant and animal in world. We know the plant and animal in our own area by their local names. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably you would recognize the confusion that would be created if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other to refer or to organism we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organism such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedure to assign a scientific name to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plant, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria which provided in International Code of Botanical Nomenclature ICBN. You may ask, how are animals named? Animals taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature ICZN. The specific name ensures that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should enable the pupil in any part of the world to arrive at the same name. They also ensure that such names has not been used for any other known organism. Biologist follows universal accepted principle to provide scientific name to known organism. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithet. This system is providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system was given by Carlos Linnaeus, is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a two-word format was found convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way of providing scientific name better. Scientific name of mango is written as Magnifera indica. Let us see how it is binomial name. In this name, Magnifera represents the genus while indica is particular species or species epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. First, biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. The first word is biological name represents the genus while second component denotes the specific epithet. Third, both the words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. Fourth, the first word denoting the genus starts with capital letter while specific epithet start with a smaller letter. It can be illustrated with example of Magnifera indica. Name of the author appears after a specific epithet, that is, at the end of the biological name, and it's written in abbreviated form. Example, Magnifera indica Lin. Lin is denoted to Linnaeus. It indicates that this species was first discovered by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plant or animal, or dogs, cats, or insects, etc. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. What image do you see when you think of dog. Obviously, each one of us will see dogs and not cats. Now, if we were to think of Elastines, cat. Now, if we were to think of Elastinians, we know what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we are to say mammals, we would of course think of animal with external ears and body hairs. Likewise, in plant, we try to talk of wheat. The picture in each of our mind will be of wheat plant or not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cat, mammals, wheat, rice, plant, animal, etc. are convenient categorized. We use to study organism. The specific terms of this category is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different level. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa. But you know that a dog is a mammal and mammals are animal. Therefore, animals, mammals and dogs represent taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is taxonomy, external and internal structure, along with the structure of cell development process and ecological information of organism are essential from the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature are processes that are basic to taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kind of organism, particularly with reference to other own use. In early days, human being needed to find sources for their basic need of food, clothing and shelter. Hence, the earliest classification were based on the use of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kind of organism and their diversities, but also the relationship among them. This branch of study was referred to as systemics. The word systemics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systemic arrangement of organism. Linnaeus used System Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systemic was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature and classification. Systemics takes into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. Taxonomic categories. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or category. Since the category is a part of all overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic categories, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category referred to as a unit of classification in fact represents a rank in commonly termed as taxon. Plural taxonomic categories and hierarchies can be illustrated by an example. Insects represents a group of organisms sharing common features like three pairs of joint leg. It means insects are recognizable concentrate object which can be classified and thus were given a rank to or category. Can you name other such group of organisms? Remember, groups represent categories. Categories further denoted ranks. Categories further denote ranks. Each rank or taxon, in fact, represent a unit of classification. These taxonomic groups categories are distinct biologically entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum, or division for plant, class, order, family, genus, and species. All organisms, including those in the plant and animal kingdom, have species as the lowest category. Now, the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. The basic requirement is the knowledge of characters of an individual or group of organisms. These helps in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individual of the same kind of organism as well as of other kingdom as well as of other kinds of organisms. Species. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on the distinct morphological difference. Let us consider Magnifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, potato, and Panthera leo, lion. All three names, indica, tuberosum, and leo, represents a specific epithets, while the first word Magnifera, Solanum, and Panthera are genera and represent another higher level of taxon or category. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithets representing different organisms but having morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigress, and Solanum include species like Nigerium and Melanogina. Human beings belong to the species Sapiens, which is grouped in genus Homo. The scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapiens. Genus. Genus comprise a group of related species which has more character in common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregate of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species but both belongs to the genus Solanum. Lion, Panthera leo, leopard, Panthera pardus, and tiger, Panthera tigris, with several common features, all species of genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus, flies, which include cat family. The next category, family, has group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plant of plant, for example, three different genera Solanum, Petunia, and Dhatura are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera, comprising lion, tiger, leopard, is put along with genus Flies cat in family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the feature of a cat and dog, you will find some similarities and some difference as well. They are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae, respectively. Order. You have seen earlier that category like species, genus and families are based on number of similar character. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on aggregate of character. Order being higher category is the assemblage of family which exhibit few similar character. The similar characters are less in numbers as compared to different genera. Include in a family plant families like convolvulus, solanaceae, plants families like convolvulaceae, solanaceae are included in the order polynomials, mainly based on floral characters. The animal order Carnivora include family like Felidae and Canidae. Class. The category include related order, for example, order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla and gibbon is placed in class Mammalia along with order Carnivora that include animal like tiger, cat and dogs. Class Mammalia has other orders also. Phylum. Class comprise animal like fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds along with mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. All these based on common feature like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plant classes which few similar characters are assigned to higher category called division. Kingdom. All animal belongs to various phyla are assigned to the highest category called kingdom Animalia. In the classification system of animals, the kingdom Plantae to the other hand, the kingdom Plantae on the other hand is distinct and comprises all plant from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these groups as animal and plant kingdom. These taxonomic categories from species to kingdom have been shown in ascending order, starting with species in figure 1.1. This one. Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, division, kingdom. These are broad categories. However, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in these hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placement of various taxa. Look at the hierarchy in figure 1.1. Can you recall the basis of arrangement? Say, for example, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Lower the taxa, more the characteristics that the member within the taxon share. Higher categories greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship to other taxa at the same level. Hence, the problem of classification become more complex. Common name, biological name, genus, family, order, class, phylum or division. Common name, man, housefly, mango, wheat. Biological name, man, Homo sapiens, housefly, Musica domestica, mango, Magnifera indica, wheat, Tritium aestivum. Genus, Homo, Mucosa, Magnifera, Tritium. Family, Hominidae, Musidae, Anarchidae, Poaceae. Order, Primata, Diptera, Sapnidales, Poales. Class, Mammalia, Insecta, Dicotyledon, Monocotyledon. Phylum or division, Chordata, Arthropoda, Angiosperm, Angio.